All right, what's up, guys? Welcome to another episode of the TMossBoss Show. And in today's episode, I'm going to just flat out and say it. My haters need to grow closer to God. You guys definitely need God, Jesus, angels, the heavens above. You need any and everything possible to really change your mind about how you think, because the way that you guys think, you have to understand something ain't right with that. And that's the thing where I'm not, because I feel like people would hear this and then they think that I'm trying to put a target on religion's back. That's the thing. You can't fight God, and you can't fight Jesus. You can't fight the Christian religion. You can't do nothing. That's the thing. If you genuinely believe that, I guess, however you think or however you are is above the Christian religion, you're wrong. you're flat out wrong. Because my thing is this: you don't see the whole world going around talking about, I strongly believe in the hatred towards TMossBoss, or I go to a TMossBoss hate church, or what else? I share TMossBoss hate quotes every day and stuff. That's something that's occupying your brain that doesn't need to be there. And that's the thing where it's like, for as long as I've been dealing with hate and then just thinking about that one day, I'm like, man, these guys definitely are not religious. And that's the thing. I feel like that they would hear this, they would get offended, and they were all like, my religion and my hatred for you are two different things. I'm like, I'm always going to be a Christian. That's the thing. Can you genuinely call yourself a Christian and then turn around and harass me, threaten me, do and say all these different things that are not Christian like? That's why I'm like, man, I just get so confused by their behavior, and then for them to try to turn around and make it seem like that they're a good person, I'm like, you're lying to yourself. That's the thing which you don't understand, is that you see any and everybody else in the same boat as you. Do you see them carrying on like you? No, you don't. You don't see nobody carrying on like you. Hating on a random person, that's the thing. If we sit down and we think about it, right? For as long as I have been aware of the lies surrounding my name, I have been defending. I mean, even before, I was defending myself. You would think that you would do a little bit more research. You'll see and realize, like, oh, well, maybe his side of the story, even if it has some truth to it, still, I'm not going to tell the most accurate side of my story for over 10 years. And then you see the other side, and then it's like, oh, well, maybe this happened, or maybe that happened. Or if he calls us out or expose us or debunk us on whatever it is that we're talking about, we just gonna, go silent and disappear, come back about 4 or 5 months down the road, and then try to bring it up all over again. No, it's like, that's the thing. You would think that at some point in time, you would realize that stuff surrounding me, flat out lies, and if I gotta keep telling the story, eventually I think that's what's gonna happen, is that I'm gonna be on a much more bigger platform one day, possibly. Don't know when exactly it'll happen, but there'll be a day where a lot of people are gonna hear my story. A lot of people are gonna hear my voice. You guys aren't gonna be able to do anything about that. See, that's the thing about, and this ain't even have nothing to do with religion, but I just think that somebody that, strongly believes in their religion is that they know that evil, people that got I ain't gonna call y'all demons, but at the same time, it's like those that got a demonic behavior. I don't know, maybe not on no Exorcist or Conjuring or Annabelle stuff, but it's like you guys you love living a evil life. And that's the thing. You can try to argue and say that you don't, but it's like, okay, well, look at how you carry on. Because my thing is this: exclude me out the picture, who's gonna be next? And that's the thing. You could say, oh, nobody's not going to be next, we just don't like you. That's a lie. Because my thing is this: it'll be somebody in the same boat as me. Because I have seen that where it's like people have compared me to other creators that they also don't like. I'll see a comment like that here and there, where they're all like, oh, this person reminds me of TMossBoss and things. And it's like, okay, if they're a person that thinks rationally and realize that the hate surrounding them is kind of dumb, if that's their thought process, that seems like a pretty good thought process. It's somebody, I guess, that they're living a life opposite of you. And I feel like there ain't nothing wrong with that. I guess, because my thing is this, right? If I'm not affecting nobody around me, surrounding me, where it's like, okay, like, yeah, friends, family, strangers. I'm trying to think, it's like, I feel like, yeah, the best way to put it and stuff. If I'm not affecting any of those people with my life, what's wrong? Like, that's what I'm trying to figure out. And that's what I'm saying. I'm like, no, you guys need to grow closer to God. You need to go to church. You need to read the Bible, listen to some Christian music. You need to do something to take your mind off of things, because just seeing a person live life that way, it's kind of weird, and it's like, and that's the thing. You have the choice of moving forward in life. You have the choice of doing bigger and better things, but you'd rather limit yourself based on another person's word. Why is that? Like, and that's the thing. You think that you don't have, like, no capable way of finding, I guess, like, somebody to guide you through life. You literally listened to a YouTuber, because I feel like people, they'll try to come up with an excuse on why they can't grow closer to God, why they can't, get more in tune with the religion and stuff. But my thing is this: if you can grow closer to a content creator where it's like, if they're definitely not on the same level as God, I'm gonna keep it a buck with you, because I feel like if they try to make it seem like that, my biggest hater, he's on that same level, that's not even lying. You're cracking jokes with yourself. Like, that's one thing about it, is that now that's comical. That is extremely funny if you are looking at my biggest hater as a God figure. Nah, that's one of those things. Please, you need to. Please get your exit out of the internet, because I'm like, if you genuinely believe that. But anyways, getting back to y'all needing to grow closer. But it's like, what would be wrong though? And it's like, my thing is this: even if that's not a religion, there's so many different religions that you could get in tune with. But I'm just saying, find something that can take your mind off of things. Like, it's getting to a point now where I'm like, okay, your safety other people's safety is very concerning when you're near them. Because my thing is this: it just seems like that you guys get way too easily upset. And I know I might have my days too where I get a little upset about things and stuff, but I do feel like that I don't know, I more so think ahead. I think of the bigger picture of things, and I just know that I'm like, God got my back. So I'm like, okay, I don't have nothing to really worry about. I mean, yeah, I still got to go about life. I still got to, remain strong mentally, but it's like, can you guys say that about yourself? Can you say mentally you guys are strong? Because if so, you wouldn't even be hearing this podcast episode right now. But if you're a hater of mine and you're listening to this podcast episode, you're the one that I'm talking to. I'm not, because there'll probably be some other haters out there where it's like, they might hear this podcast episode sometime later, or somebody might tell it to them, whatever the case is, but they don't pay attention to me like that. Like, here's the thing, because I feel like that there's those types of haters where it's like, they have a hatred towards me, but they're not watching every single one of my videos. They're not looking at every single one of my social media posts. They're not finding a reason to comment underneath, or, like, they're just going about their life the best that they can, but they don't want me to be involved. Now, a hater like that, I don't mind a hater like that. I don't. Like, no, if you hate me, but you hate me from a distance, cool. More power to you. Continue hating me. Have the most amount of hatred in your heart towards me. But if you're one of those people where you find yourself constantly looking at everything that I'm doing just to find something to hate on, bruh, you need help. Or overall, what I've been talking about for this, the past almost 9 minutes, you need to grow closer to God. You need to pray more. You need to, like I said, read the Bible, watch some Christian movies. Like, that's the thing. I don't think people realize, like, how bad this world is. Like, if I could just kind of talk on that real quick, because they're so caught up in being worried about me. And I'm like, I feel like people like that, maybe something is mentally wrong with them to where they're not thinking along those lines. But like I've been saying, grow closer to God, get in more tune, or even if it's like you want to be in tune with another religion, fine, do that. But my thing is this: you need to realize how hard this world is on people, and to have something there, okay, to, I guess, make you a stronger person, because right now y'all are weak. Y'all are weak. If you're a hater listening to this podcast episode and you're looking at my tweets and you're watching all my videos, and everything possible, and you're trying to find a reason, you're a weak-minded person. You're weak. Like, that's the thing. And people, they'll hear that, they'll get upset, and then they want to argue with me and all this other stuff. We can argue. My thing is this: we can argue for a whole year. We can argue for 10 years. We can argue for 100 years. You're still gonna be weak. That's the thing. I could erase all of the hate videos, the hate podcast episodes. I can act like I don't know nothing about you guys. People can be all like, hey, what's up with all this hate? Like, what's going on? I'm like, I don't know what's going on that side of the internet. I know one thing for sure, though, I don't care about it. And even now, I can say that I don't care about it, because I mean, I could go about, the thing is this: I got 24 hours in the day, right? I spend the majority of it thinking along the lines, what can I do content creating related? Like, what can I do to elevate, my channel? Now, stuff like this is just, me using my break. Like, I am, I guess in a way, like doing something. I guess more so with stuff like this, it's like, I'm trying to just put out a good message and stuff. So I feel like that this is a part of, content creating and stuff. But I spend the majority of my day focused on what things can I do to elevate my career as a content creator, and then, I'll spend a little bit of time with the fam, watch a little bit of wrestling. At the end of the night, read my Bible, one of my two Bibles, because I have the King James version and I have the Ethiopian version. And so it's pretty much the same Bible, but it's the Ethiopian version has a little bit more books in it and stuff. So it's pretty much a bigger version of the King James version. And and it's like, I'll read my Bible, do maybe a couple of streams in the day too. And then, just go to sleep, wake up, repeat the same thing all over again. Now, if I do find myself talking about haters, it's either going to, get some message across, or, I'm like, let me just, make a couple of bucks real quick talking about my haters and stuff. Because that's the thing. It's like, I knew that a long time ago that you guys was weak-minded. Like, and it's funny how easily upset you guys can get based off of something that I said. And it's funny because you can say the same thing about me, but it's like, I've been trying to move on from you guys. I've been trying to go on my life, not having to see anything from you guys. But no, it's like you purposely go out of your way. It's like I think that's what it is that you're lonely. You're trying to find somebody to talk to or whatever. And it's like you get that desperate to where you want to have a conversation with somebody that you don't like. Make that make sense, please. I would like to be educated. I would like to know. I would like to understand. It's like there's a toss up between knowing the Krabby Patty formula and why you guys have a strong hatred for me. And I'm like, man, the strong, it's one and the same. Because I'm like, man, the thing is that it confuses me. I'm like, you guys have been hating on me all this time, and I feel like that whatever the reason was on why you even discovered me, you can't still be hating on somebody for that long. And like I said, that just shows how weak-minded that you guys are. If you've been hating on me for however many years, like, I can understand if you might have just discovered me maybe a few days ago. Okay, I'm like, the hatred is fresh. But if it's been around, for like the duration of a presidential term, or what else? The duration of a video game being out, the first game before the second one comes out. I mean, it's been around for some time. It's old, bruh. Like, let it go. Move on. There's other bigger and better things to be worried about. Now I'm not saying to hate on another person. That's why I'm doing this podcast episode, to let y'all know that hate ain't that serious, especially if it's over some content creating stuff. Now I can understand if there's somebody that's putting you guys in a situation, but my thing is this: what situation am I putting you in? Like, I can understand like why a person, they would say that they hate Donald Trump because he's done a lot of wrong in this country. What have I done wrong in this country? What things can you say? Because I just posted this earlier today. The guy, he was it's the one stalker guy that's he's been on my case for a few years, but he was threatening me last year. I'm pretty sure some of you guys may know who I'm talking about, but he makes some posts, and I think it was because of the podcast episode that I posted where I said that I would block and ban an entitled fan. Why does that need to, all the different things that you could be doing in the day? And just to talk on that real quick, do you honestly, genuinely believe that that's what's going to reignite? Like, there's so many different things that can reignite the TMossBoss hate train and stuff, but do you Do you genuinely believe that me talking about, because every content creator, you don't know about that because you're not a content creator. You may call yourself a content creator, but that doesn't mean that you're a content. I could say that I'm a firefighter because, I played the firefighting simulator. That doesn't make me a firefighter. So, but my thing is this, right? Do you genuinely believe that that's going to be the content that goes viral? It's that type of stuff where it's like, fam, you're wasting your time. Nobody cares about that. The only people that I guess would see that are the fake accounts that are following you, and even they don't care about that. They don't even know who I am. So it's funny how they paint this picture like, I'm the most evil person in the world, yet they'll also say that nobody knows who I am. So what's the point of talking about me? That's why I'm like, man, yeah, it's like, yeah, y'all got to grow a little bit closer to God. Y'all need to do something to take your mind off of things, because the way that you guys is living, it's like, it's foul. It's very weird, but anyways, with that being said, talk to y'all later. Thank you guys for watching and or listening. Stay tuned for the next episode. Like, subscribe, viewing this on YouTube, follow or subscribe, viewing this on the podcast streaming service, and peace.